Morning, Guten Morgen, and Guten Tag, and wake up, you bloody fucking cunts, because actually it's afternoon over there. Anyway, you know the place, you know the time, you know the guy. For the uninitiated, this is Red, aka Shaka, Submonica Black Magic. This is the other side of ropes. This is the video column pertaining to independent wrestling from a wrestler's point of view. Yours truly. Now, it's come to my attention. Like a couple of days ago, they did Raw with Brodus Clay coming back and this whole Funkasaurus thing. Alright, I know everybody was expecting something else, but come on, man. We're talking about the thing we know and love that would have been considered a sport, now considered spectacle because it's at the mercy of who else? Corporate America. Doesn't seem familiar? Should. Remember rap? Used to be a pretty big thing back in the underground. Not so much when record companies got their hands on it. I'm talking about the major record companies. Now it's basically booty. It's another way of putting it. Now, on the flip side of that, let's see with us. Well, I've been saying this for a minute. I mean, like I said before, I think even McMahon basically he's basically a puppet on a string, just on a different level than we were used to be seeing. Because you're talking about people who are controlling him, who's making sure he gets his money. I'm talking about the shareholders. That's how he gets his thing. He stays on, stays on top. He gets his thing, but at the same time, these cats don't know wrestling. But what the heck? They tell him, you still want to get paid, then you're going to have to do what we tell you to do. It's a public company. So at the same time, you got to keep the shareholders' interests at heart. Sad but true. Now, they still don't regard it as a sport in the first place. That's why they can do that. Now, people keep giving me a lot of flack because of different schools of thought. And there are different schools of thought here when we're talking about wrestling. People just think it goes from collegiate to amateur to bop, bop, bop. Don't work like that, man. I've said that before, too. I mean, like, remember the whole thing about wrestlers going into what was called No Holds Barred at the time? I mean, I give you a short list. Let's see. Back in 97, around the same tour Couture went in, one of his teammates, Kevin Monday, fought for the XFC. Yeah, it was Extreme Fighting Championship. Same time, this is back when UFC was still fledgling too. You know what I mean? Now, people think it may be a bit uncommon for, say, a catch wrestler. Catch wrestling still exists, and I said this before. That was that whole thing about shooters not being existent because they're somewhere else. This is my point. The very few that are around, let's see. Who do you think made this a sport? The catch wrestlers. They got marginalized. This is why I say Karl Gotch is one of the best, if not the greatest wrestler from last century. Because even if you say Flair, everybody knows him, gave good face. Nah, he gave good face. That was it. His predecessor, I'm not talking about Buddy Rogers, the golden age version of Ric Flair was Lou Thesz. He was a good catch wrestler, but it was recognized even he knew he wasn't that good. It was still Karl Gotch. But Lou Thesz looked good presenting the belt. That was what the NWA needed, and that's what he gave him, plain and simple. Now, today, you have somebody that's in there that you don't hear about now, and Vince ain't going to get his mitts on him because he's not going to go just from one and stay there like what happened to Ken Shamrock when he came from Pancrase to UFC, then went to the F. Because that's how McMahon rolls. You get a contract with him, you work with him exclusively. You don't blow dogs for quarters without him knowing about it and him getting a cut. That's how that rolls. Now, who's doing it now that most people don't know about? Josh Barnett. Trains with the legendary Eric Paulson out in Cali. Fought in Strike Force. Pancrase. U-Style. Used to be in New Japan, but when Inoki packed up his tents, and by the way, Inoki was trained by Karl Gotch too. who was also in the corner of Inoki when he had the fight with Ali. Guess who the referee was? Gene LeBell. Another catch wrestler. Anyway, Josh Barnett. Just had, when Inoki pulled up his tents, in other words, he pulled out of New Japan, including the lineage, and that was around the same time Angle had the IWGP title under different management. So what did Inoki do? He started his own promotion again. That's the Inoki Genome Federation, the IGP. Now, matter of fact, Barnett just had a match over there a few months ago against Bobby Lashley. Didn't pull a Lesnar. He didn't just get out of this contract and then go something else. No. Barnett is across the board, all the way. Modern day Combo Man. Now, back in the day, Combo Man would box and he would wrestle. Whole different story here. Now, like I said before, you're not going to go in juiced up with that whole Cadillac body and you got a Chevy engine. The two don't flow. It's not supposed to. You go for the conditioner like Carl Gotch said, conditioning is your best hold. Why? Because if you got to muscle somebody into a submission, you're killing your energy. You don't want to do that. Leveraging mechanics. If you know that, bang, there's no problem. Who do you think trained all these guys? One of his students was Hiro Matsuda. Who did Hiro Matsuda train? Anybody that came through Florida? Luger, Hogan, Ron Simmons, Arn Anderson. Anybody that came through there that they had to learn lace up their boots, Hiro Matsuda trained them. And he was one of the few students that Carl Gotch had, aside from Inoki. If it wasn't for Carl Gotch, there would be no Strong Style. If it wasn't for the catch wrestler who's still alive today by the name of Billy Robinson going over to Japan, because the promoters over here wanted the flashy stuff and marginalize the competitors, like Robinson and Gotch, there would be no MMA. Why is that? Because Robinson started the snake pit that originated in Wigan, England, and that's the same place where Dynamite Kid, Quick Kick Lee, you know him as the first Tiger Master Toru Sayama, also trained by Gotch Swell at some point. All these guys, you know, Wigan had that history. Now, when they went over from Wigan, Robinson took the snake pit and started the Japan wing. That's where guys like Barnett and the Shamrocks came from. That's where Sakuraba came from. You know, new Sakuraba? UWFI Bushido. And yeah, Luthez was the commissioner there. The trainer, Robinson. You had guys like Mark Fleming, who was getting jobbed out over in Mid-Atlantic. Luthez pulled him out, put him over there. And yeah, the secret there, the shoots on the stand-up, the work is on the ground, and that's basically sparring. Not too many people know that one anymore. But like I said, conditioning. You get the Maserati frame with the Maserati engine, and it's performance all the way. You just keep rolling and keep rolling and keep rolling. Straight up. Oh, and before I wrap this up, Smart Mark Radio has their annual contest, and yours truly has been nominated for Independent Wrestler of the Year. I might get edged out because I'm probably somewhere in 6th or 7th place. Joseph Von Schmidt's got a strong lead. And I'm also up for Interviewer of the Year. But for you guys out there that catch this video, yeah, go on their website and check out their annual list and put a check by Black Magic Shaka. Once again, they nominated me for Independent Wrestler of the Year and Interviewer of the Year. I appreciate the support. Now, moving right along and moving on ahead, I'm going to bust out the shout-outs. Yes, the shout-outs are back. To my boy Damian Graves out in Carson City, and to the bottom of the state, big shout-out to my brother, Mr. White Trash, Johnny Logan, over in Vegas. Sick Nick for NWA Wildside over in Arizona. For Vintage Pro Wrestling over in Oklahoma, Miss Dawn Holly. Out in the Southwest, in the Southeast area, I should say, Mr. Bobby Sanford and Marcus Gibbs. To my people over in Georgia and some parts down south over in Tennessee, let's see, we talking about none other than Scotty Bullwinkle, Blade Walker, Ghetto Blaster wherever you are, Miss Amanda Lady Amazon, Luscious Bob Geary. Over in the Midwest, Mr. Atlas J. Horn for Vanguard. And of course, let's see, Over in Maryland, you see my Maximum Championship alumni, the Asian Sensation, Massive Mike, Trina Stratus, Chris Nightmare, Adam Ugly, Jimmy Dream, D-Line, E.L. Stanley. Over in Jersey, my brother in arms. Wait, before we even get to that point, the Devastation University, Doc Diamond Crew, the 215 Empire, the 212 wing of the 212 Empire, my little brother, Xavier Fate. All they do is win. Over in, oh yeah, shout out to my brother in arms, former grunt, Brother James. Hang strong, Rook, and do us proud. The Black Dragon, the Psycho Stalker, wherever you are. And let me see, the Hardcore Captain Dave Spieler. Over in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Alliance, big shout out to my people for Risky Business Inc. Over in Tamaqua, PA, for the Elite Generation Wrestling Crew. For the 2CW Wrestling Crew up in Binghamton. I'm talking about the representation of Mr. Cage, Sean Carr, Axel Lennon, Ivy Green. Going over to my people over in the across over the pond, over the Atlantic Ocean, over in the UK, my Power Trip Wrestling Crew. I'm talking about Northern Ann, of course, PT player himself, Petey Stanforth, Drewy and Woo, the Milkshake and the Ginger Snap, to Madam Vicky, and of course the new true member of the Singing Dads, cause all we do is put you over, over, over. I'm talking about the new Proud Papa, Teetotaler Tommy Stevens, and his bouncing baby girl Emily. Let's see, to the Tobes and Craig Gunner, Tony Allen. To my peeps over in Belgium, of course, talking about from Flemish Wrestling Force, Mi Hermano and Hamana. Talking about Robin and Lori. My Kohai, Jack Demento. Of course, Thorax, collectively known as Beatings Are Us, Homeless, Gangrene, Rob Raw, Wendy Alossery, Angel, Gabriel Angel Fire. To my people over in Holland, Andy Effin Patterson, Rico Bushido, Mott Van Kunder, and Mr. Louis, Vito Villatore Toscani, Sumerian Death Squad, and of course Mr. Twan Kreft, man responsible for starting off that whole thing from becoming a Europe in the first place, Hudson Welder, Inderdad. To my German crew, wie geht's zusammenarbeit in Deutschland? My Berlin crew, Craig BC, Xeris Von Crow, Susie, Crazy Sexy Mike, Ahmed Kher. My Dresden people, Susie over in Dresden, Catherine, might I talk to Savannah, Sandra in Grossenheim, Kathy and Maddie. To the boys over in Austria, Andrea Bobbage and the Top Catch Wrestling Crew, Deutsche Wrestling Alliance crew with Drazy Johnny Tiger, Marcel for Pro Wrestling Fighters, the AWM crew over in Lubeck, Rick, The Voice, Valentine, MC Logan, Pro Wrestling Eve crew including Mina, Yenny, my homegirl, Alpha Female. Up in Scandinavia, Fight Club Finlandia, represented by my man Starbuck. Anybody else I might have missed? Don't worry. You might not be in the top of my head right off the moment, but you're definitely in the bottom of my heart. incense. This is Red, aka Shaka. This has been The Other Side of Ropes. And as always, it's been real. I'm out. Peace.